Hey everyone, glad to have you with us for another Bona training camp video. Let's talk about the Bona Prep and Recoat system. Again, this system has been around since 1998 and has proven itself for almost 30 years. Unless the floor has been maintained with acrylic polishes or those types of maintenance coatings, you would then use the Bona Recoat system that utilizes Bona Remove. That's specially formulated to take acrylic polishes and stuff and break those down and dissolve them. But otherwise, most of the floors we run into, Bona Prep and the two different methods we're going to talk about to utilize this as your recoat system is going to be what I would go to probably 95% of the time. So let's not waste any more time just talking about it. Let's get in and see the demos that we did and how you can utilize prep and recoat on your customers' floors. So with the Bona Prep and Recoat process, to do prep and recoat with the PowerScrubber, we're going to need our white brush system for the PowerScrubber. We're going to have obviously our prep, and I'm going to have it in a 5-gallon bucket, but also a quart, so I can do spray and buff along the edges. I'm going to also have a 175 RPM buffer. I'm going to have a multi-disc Bona Diamonds in 240 grit, a scrub brush, some rags, probably the little Bona mouse block so I can hand sand around the edges, and obviously then your finish and application tools. Optional also is then to have some Bona conditioning pads, 180 grit Bona Diamonds if you want to get a little more aggressive on the job. 1/4-inch intermediate pads if you want to soften up the abrasion on the multi-disc a bit, or you can also have a 16-inch drive plate if you want to abrade that way and you don't have a multi-disc, and maybe some box fans for the drying point when we get to that, just to set up in doorways and help speed up that part of the process. So first, with a successful recoat, we want to clean the floor, and we're going to start that out by just vacuuming up the loose dirt and debris that's sitting around the floor. If we have sticky spills and gum on the floor, usually we use a plastic scraper to scrape up the gum, maybe a little bit of hot water and or Bona Power Plus cleaner to help with some sticky spills to clean those up. But just do a little pre-cleaning in that way with your vacuum and cleaning up those extracurricular spills to get going. Then we're going to fill our scrubber up with prep out of our 5-gallon pail. Don't dilute it. We want to use it full strength. And then we're going to clean the main part of our field with our PowerScrubber and the white brushes going up and back in the same path, and then overlapping about 20%. Now, as we're running the PowerScrubber back and forth, we're usually going to dispense prep only on the forward pass and then concentrate on picking everything up and scrubbing and cleaning everything up on the backwards pass. We're going to work our whole field like that with the PowerScrubber, and then we can come back and work the edges and the detail areas where the PowerScrubber can't touch with our quart bottle, and we're going to spray and hand scrub that. Or we could have a powered scrubber, or we're just using a hand scrub brush. Maybe a conditioning pad if you have some more spills and stuff around the outside, or it's a little dirtier. Doing that scrubbing with a conditioning pad can help. But whatever you're using when you're done with that scrubbing and stuff around the edges and detail areas, you can wipe that up with a terry cloth rag or microfiber rag just wetted with prep. So now the floor is clean, and then we want to abrade it. So the best thing to abrade with is going to be the Bona multi-disc. We can soften that up by adding 1/4-inch intermediate pads, and that'll just help the diamonds, again, conform to the soft grain surfaces on the floor. Micro bevels, if you have pre-finished. If it's a lightly hand-scraped floor, it'll help conform to those lower areas as well. And it just helps to soften up, again, that cut with those 1/4-inch intermediate pads. With 240 grit diamond abrasives around on those 6 discs, you could put 180 grit if you wanted to be more aggressive. Again, the diamonds do just a fantastic job at thoroughly abrading the floor, helping remove scuffs, minor surface scratches, and then continuing that cleaning process by removing that very, very top layer of finish, which just tends to get, ground in dirt and grit and stuff in it, and needs to be removed in order to really clean up that surface. Another option you've got in the abrasion is you could also use, like we said, on just a 16-inch drive plate, 1 or 2 conditioning pads. I like to stack 2 on there just to give me a little more softness to that abrasion, and then put 2 or 3 diamonds, positioned around the outside of that pad. Again, you can substitute 180 grit if you want to be more aggressive with that. So when we've finished the field and abrading that, now we need to go around and hand abrade the edges and detail areas where we couldn't hit with the multi-disc. And we can take care of that with our 240 grit diamonds on a random orbit sander. You can put one on one of the little Bona mice pads, even with a 1/4 inch intermediate pad on there to kind of match the softness that you had on your multi-disc. But again, whatever method you choose to use, make sure that everything gets thoroughly abraded, not just the field, but also those edges and detail areas. Now, once the floor is abraded, we got to go back and clean it again. This is where the PowerScrubber really shines through in it, helping to remove that the dust created by the diamonds when you're sanding that floor, because it's so fine that it really sticks to the surface of the flooring. And one of your options is you can wet tack with water and a Bona mop and the regular blue cleaning pads to try to get off the diamond dust, but it's so much easier and so much more thorough if you use your PowerScrubber. And just with water, we don't need to put prep in there again. PowerScrubber with water and the white brushes, and you won't believe how clean it gets that floor and how well it removes that diamond dust and gets everything ready for your new coat of finish. But after you've cleaned the field with your PowerScrubber, make sure you hit, again, edges and detail areas, just with wet rags or Bona mop covers, that are clean, to again help get that diamond dust off from those edges and detail areas. Now that the floor is cleaned again and cleaned for our last time, we want to make sure it's dry. So give it 20 or 30 minutes of good dry time, and if you need to, you can always place box fans in the doorways, get some good airflow going across that floor. We really want to make sure that any prep and or water from the PowerScrubber that's gotten down in the seams or maybe soft grain, that we give it good dry time to evaporate and get out of there. So adding that extra airflow across the surface of the floor is always a big help. Then after it's dry, say for 30 minutes, but within 2 hours, we want to coat it with our waterborne finish, or you could even coat it with oil modified if that's your customer's preference. Although if it's pre-finished, we're going to recommend that any of the Traffic HD family of finishes are used because, again, pre-finished is more difficult to achieve good adhesion with, and you want to use the best finish for that, and nothing exhibits or has the characteristics of excellent adhesion better than the Bona Traffic HD family of finishes. And that's how easy it can be to prep and recoat and fully revive the beauty locked down into your customers' floors.